The studio lights were bright, almost blinding, as the audience buzzed with anticipation. The familiar theme music played, and the energy inside the room lifted instantly. Kelly Clarkson stepped onto the stage with her signature smile, waving to the cheering crowd. She had a natural warmth that made even the biggest celebrities feel at ease. Today's episode, however, carried a slightly different tension beneath the excitement. Jodie Foster walked out moments later, poised and elegant as ever. She greeted Kelly with a polite smile, and the two shared a brief hug before taking their seats. The applause lingered longer than usual. After all, Jodie wasn't just another guest. She was a legend. Known for her intelligence, composure, and carefully chosen words, she rarely made casual appearances like this. At first, everything seemed perfectly normal. Kelly opened with light conversation, asking about Jodie's recent projects and her thoughts on working in the film industry after so many decades. Jodie responded calmly, her voice measured, offering thoughtful insights into storytelling, directing, and the evolution of cinema. The audience listened closely, hanging on to every word. Kelly leaned forward, clearly interested. "You've seen Hollywood change so much over the years. Do you ever feel like it's not the same place you started in?" she asked. Jodie gave a small smile, her eyes reflecting something deeper. "It's definitely different," she said. "But change is inevitable. The challenge is staying authentic within that change." The conversation flowed smoothly for a while. Kelly's charm and humor balanced Jodie's more serious tone, creating a dynamic that felt engaging. The audience laughed when Kelly joked about her own awkward first auditions, and Jodie even chuckled softly. But then the shift began. Kelly glanced at her notes, hesitating just for a second before asking her next question. "There's been a lot of talk lately about privacy in Hollywood," she said carefully. "You've always been very private about your personal life. Do you think that's been misunderstood over the years?" The room grew slightly quieter. It wasn't an aggressive question, but it carried weight. Jodie's expression changed, just subtly, but enough to be noticeable. She crossed her legs and leaned back a little. "I don't think it's about misunderstanding," she replied. "I think it's about boundaries." Kelly nodded, trying to keep things light. "Of course, absolutely. But do you ever feel like the public expects more openness from celebrities nowadays?" Jodie paused. For a moment, it seemed like she might redirect the conversation. "The public can expect whatever they want," she said calmly. "That doesn't mean they're entitled to it." There was a slight murmur in the audience. The tone had shifted, and everyone could feel it. Kelly adjusted her posture, sensing the tension. "That's fair," she said quickly. "I just think people are always curious, especially about someone as respected as you." Jodie's gaze sharpened, though her voice remained controlled. "Curiosity isn't the issue," she said. "It's the assumption that curiosity must be satisfied." The air in the studio felt heavier now. Kelly smiled, but it was more restrained. She wasn't used to this kind of pushback, not on her show, where conversations were usually relaxed and friendly. Trying to regain control, Kelly shifted slightly. "Let's talk about your early career," she said. "You started acting as a child. Did that shape how you handle fame today?" Jodie nodded slowly. "Of course it did," she replied. "Growing up in this industry teaches you very quickly what you want to protect." Kelly leaned in again, perhaps pushing just a bit too far. "Do you ever regret keeping so much of yourself private? Like maybe fans feel disconnected because of that?" That was the moment everything changed. Jodie's expression hardened. She didn't answer immediately. Instead, she looked at Kelly for a long second. Long enough for the audience to sense something was wrong. "I don't measure my life by how connected strangers feel to me," Jodie said, her voice steady but unmistakably firm. A few audience members shifted in their seats. The atmosphere was no longer comfortable. Kelly blinked, clearly caught off guard. "I didn't mean it like that," she said quickly. "I just meant—" "I understand what you meant," Jodie interrupted, still calm but now clearly irritated. "And I've answered the question." There was a pause, a real uncomfortable pause. Kelly tried to recover with a small laugh. "All right, let's lighten things up a bit," she said. "We actually have a fun segment planned." But Jodie wasn't smiling anymore. "I think we're done here," she said. For a split second, it didn't register. The audience thought it might be part of the show, some kind of joke or dramatic setup. Kelly's smile froze. "What do you mean?" she asked softly. Jodie stood up. "I came here to talk about my work," she said, "not to justify how I choose to live my life." The silence in the studio was absolute now. Even the cameras seemed to hesitate. Kelly stood as well, her expression a mix of confusion and concern. "Jodie, I'm sorry if something came across the wrong way," she said. "That wasn't my intention at all." Jodie nodded politely, but there was distance in her eyes. "I'm sure it wasn't," she replied. "But intention doesn't always change impact." She turned slightly, acknowledging the audience with a brief, gracious nod. Some people began to clap, unsure of what else to do. Then, without another word, she walked off the stage. The cameras quickly cut to Kelly, who stood there for a moment, trying to process what had just happened. She took a deep breath, regaining her composure as a professional. "Well," she said softly, offering a small, uncertain smile, "we're going to take a quick break." The music started, but it felt different now, less energetic, more like a way to fill the silence. Behind the scenes, there was a flurry of movement. Producers whispered urgently, trying to figure out how to handle the unexpected moment. Meanwhile, the audience buzzed with hushed conversations, replaying the scene in their minds. Kelly eventually returned after the break, her usual confidence tempered with a more serious tone. She addressed the situation briefly, choosing her words carefully. "Sometimes conversations don't go the way we expect," she said. "But I have nothing but respect for Jodie Foster and her incredible career." The show continued, but the earlier warmth never fully returned. Something had shifted, not just in the room, but in how the moment would be remembered. And somewhere beyond the bright lights and cameras, Jodie Foster left the building quietly, exactly as she had always preferred, on her own terms.